Welcome back here to Mighty Mac on YouTube. Once again, if you guys like the content they provide, be sure to subscribe today to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming content. As you can see, we have wrapped up a rainy and wet Gatornationals, and we have a lot to talk about following this event and what it can mean in the future events for the 2025 season. So if you want to keep up with everything that's going on and all the drama and all the hype around it, subscribe today to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming action. And without further ado, let's get into the video.
I'm not a race car driver. Yeah, in that moment, obviously, fall is not going to be happy. When he hears there was a unit, he will calm down. Yeah.
So the big news today following the Gatornationals is the comments made by Bob Tasca III following his first round win against Austin Prock here in Gainesville. He got out of the car on the top end and did his interview with Fox Sports' Amanda Busick and had some very harsh criticisms and comments about the people at Fox Sports for the promotion they did for the NTT IndyCar series this year. It was pretty scathing reviews on what he thought about it, and unsurprisingly, it is the feeling of a lot of drivers here in the paddock. A lot of drivers I talked to this weekend, both in the interviews I did in the Thursday live stream, as well as just throughout the media sessions I did today, and just the comments that you've heard. It's a pretty common view amongst most of the drivers, and it was Bob Tasca III who said it. And of course, here is what he had to say. I'm very disappointed with Fox Sports. All winter, I got to hear the fastest motorsports in the world, and I looked up and I didn't see the PPG Mustang, and I didn't see Austin Prock's car. I saw an IndyCar, and the fact is, we are the fastest motorsports in racing, and I think it's an insult to the drivers and the fans. And again, that is pretty much the consensus amongst most of the drivers and even the media members here in the series. A lot of people had problems with what Fox Sports did by claiming it was the fastest motorsports on the planet. And even though that some IndyCar media is going to defend it and is going to double down on it, and some fans in IndyCar are even saying that drag racing isn't racing, regardless of what you want to say, the time slips don't lie. We had a top field final today where both cars went 333 miles an hour. We had cars today in really tricky weather conditions still go out there and run 338 miles an hour. And it was like that the entire day. And guess what? We don't need to turn the qualifying boost up to make that happen. They can do it on their own just by getting aggressive with the setup and reading what the track can give to them. So regardless of what anybody wants to say, regardless of the fact that whether they just watch IndyCar and don't bother going to any other sport and just stay in the media center all day, this is the fastest motorsport on the planet outside of course, land speed racing. Because guess what? They go 500 miles an hour. Heck, a Freightliner semi-truck with a jet engine goes faster than IndyCar. So I don't know where these comments come from, but regardless of what you want to say, it's not the fastest motorsports in the world. It may be the fastest one that turns left, but if you want to turn right, and even though the shot was taken at F1, it's not even the fastest there. So, stupid comments, stupid promotion. I get what they're doing, but it's not. It's a lie. As for the race itself, today was a tricky day. It was almost a day that didn't happen. Questions arose when we came to Gainesville this morning about whether or not this race was going to happen. Coming into the event, Sunday looked like a washout. There were teams getting ready to race this event on Tuesday. The plan was already, if we got one round of racing in today, they're going to move the rest of it to Phoenix. Thankfully, going into Sunday, the weather did hold off for the most part. We got through top fuel round one for the most part. It was a very tricky conditions as the weather going into today played a big factor in how the track was set up, and it was very, very, very difficult for a lot of top fuel cars to get down. Only one car in the first 6 pairs of top fuel made it down the racetrack, and that was Tony Stewart's. Everybody else was stuck in a pedal fest trying to get down the racetrack. Now the big problem today was of course Trip Tatum. In his round one race against Dan Mercier, he suffered a violent crash up towards the top end after spinning the tires, tried to save it, smacked the rear into the wall, and skidded across the racetrack and went nose first into the right lane wall and destroyed the car. Tripp got out. He was obviously upset with it. A lot of crew guys were upset with how the track was handling, but thankfully for them, while NHRA was cleaning the racetrack from that accident, the rain fell and we were stuck here for 3 hours. It did clear up and the NHRA was able to get the track dry. It was able to re-prep the track and gave us a better racetrack, but again, we were stuck under another delay as right before Top Fuel was getting ready to finish round one with the final two pairs, we had a power outage in the timing tower, and that took out the power for not only the race control, the media center, but also it took out the power to the Christmas tree, as well as the PA system and the scoreboards up on the top end. So it was a very tricky condition for everybody all day long, but thankfully we got through the entire event. As you can see behind me, the rain is now falling here in Gainesville. As for Pro Mod, they were canceled for the rest of the day. We ended up hearing that they're going to be racing at Chicago to finish that race up. As for the Top Fuel All-Star Callout, it's going to be continuing at the Pomona Winter Nationals in a couple weeks' time. As for the rest of the race, here is your race day recap. In Pro Stock Motorcycle in round 1, the war between Matt Smith and Gage Herrera continued to grow closer as Matt Smith would get the early advantage, recording the fastest ET of round 1 with a 6.75 with a 3 to Gage's 6.76 with a 6. Ron Torno, who announced that 2025 would be his last season in NHRA, would suffer a heartbreak as although he had a faster run than John Hall, he fouled out on the tree by 0.005. In round number 2, Chase Van Sant would take out the first of the Vance Hines rider of Richard Gatson, and John Hall would beat Matt Smith off the starting line with a 0.009 reaction time, but would lose as Matt Smith would ride around him to take the win. In the semifinals, Chase Van Sant would line up against Gage Herrera, but would cost himself a shot at the win as he would red light on the tree. Meanwhile, Matt Smith would take out his wife while again recording the fastest ET of the day with a 6.73 to have lane choice against Gage in the finals. And in the final round, in typical Pro Stock Motorcycle fashion, the drama would start early as Matt Smith would suffer an electrical problem while trying to fire the bike. The team would quickly fix the issue, and Vance Hines would allow them to fix it and fire the bike. As for the race, Gage would beat Matt off the line and outrun him by 1,000th of a second, and to cap it all off, Andrew Hines called out Matt saying, "We took the high road, the ready line is back there." In Pro Stock, the upset heavy class of Pro Stock would show its head again from the first pair of the season as Derek Reese would take out the 6-time champion and defending Gatornationals winner Erica Enders, and Corey Reed would later take out number 2 qualifier Derek Kramer. In round number 2, Corey Reed would defeat Mason McGahey and repeat his round 1 ET to the 1,000th of a second, while Derek Reese would suffer an engine failure during his round 2 matchup against Greg Anderson. And Corey Reed would red light against Dallas Glenn to lose the semifinal, while Dallas would lose lane choice to Greg by 1,000th of a second. And in the final round, in a rematch of the Sudden Death Championship race from last year, Dallas Glenn would get back at his KB Titan teammate as he would beat Greg off the line, and Greg would square the tires while Dallas ran down to claim his first win of the year. In Funny Car, the feel-good story of the class would come in round 1 as Jim Dunn Racing driver Buddy Hall would score an upset win against Daniel Wilkerson, and Bobby Bodie III would defeat the defending winner J.R. Todd. In the ongoing rivalry of Bob Tasca III and Austin Prock would continue in round 1 as after Prock's struggles on Friday, he was seated in the 15th position heading into Sunday. Those struggles would continue as Prock's car would shut off early and Tasca would wheel the car down the track to take the win. Alexis DeJoria would suffer a catastrophic explosion in her round 1 win against Terry Haddock. It would later be found out that the crankshafts had blown out of the block and damaged the body, causing the team to have to do an entire rebuild of not only the engine, but the body, as the team did not have a backup. In round 2, Buddy Hull's Cinderella story would end in round 2 as he would lose to the car at half track against Chad Green. Matt Hagan would defeat Jack Beckman, ending John Force Racing's chances of winning at the Gatornationals. Bobby Bodie III would beat Ron Capps off the line and look to have the race locked before shaking the tires and losing the round, and Alexis DeJoria, who barely made the call, arrived with the crew guys hanging on to the side of the car while repairing the car and would give JCM Racing their first semifinal in a Funny Car as she would defeat Bob Tasca III. In the semifinals, Chad Green would be late getting to the line as the team was stuck replacing the engine between rounds and barely made it to the starting line in time, and it would pay off as Chad Green would take out Hagan and advance to his first final round since the 2023 NHRA Finals. And Alexis DeJoria would also be late to the line, but lightning would not strike twice as she double-stepped on the tree and never got full power into the car, allowing Ron Capps to take the win. And in the final round, both cars would leave evenly off the line, but Capps would start to pedal early and shut the car off as Chad Green would scorch down the track to claim his second career win. And lastly, in Top Fuel, like at the top of the show, Tony Stewart, who all of last season struggled to get clean passes down the track, continued the progress in qualifying as he would be one of the few cars around 1 to make it all the way down the track. Dan Mercier, who blew a tire on Friday and left everyone unsure on whether he would be competing on Sunday, would be gifted a round 1 win due to Trip Tatum's crash. In round 2, Jasmine Salinas, who defeated Sean Reed in round 1, would continue her feel-good story of the class as she would defeat Dan Mercier to go to her first semifinal round of her Top Fuel career, and Tony Stewart would continue the progress of finding pace in his dragster, as although he lost to Sean Langdon, he once again had a clean run down the track to a 375. In the semifinals, defending winner Sean Langdon would run against Jasmine Salinas. In the semifinals, defending winner Sean Langdon would ruin Jasmine Salinas' chance at a first win, as the defending Gatornationals Top Fuel winner would continue the consistent pace that gave him a shot at the championship last season, as he would record his fastest run of the day with a 3.727. And while that run was preparing to start, Antron Brown's team would have a mad dash to the starting line, as with the help of Sean Reed's team, he had to swap the motor between the rounds due to a failed ignition timer. He would later go down to win the race and beat Steve Torrance to advance to the final. And in that final race, in a race between the defending winner and the defending champion, Antron Brown would defeat Sean Langdon off the line in a tight-knit race. Antron Brown would capture the first Top Fuel win of the 2025 season. And as always, we have highlights to show you courtesy of our friends at NHRA and Fox, as well as some quotes from the winners of today's race. But first, a word from our partners over at Peak Performance.
Protect your vehicle with Peak Original Equipment Technology. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle.
They're off. The quicker 60-foot time to Gage Herrera by 3/100ths of a second. And at the finish line stripe, Herrera, 6.72.2 beats a 6.72.3. This is going to be a long, long season, Tony, if this is what we have to look forward to.
Oh, welcome to the top end of Gage Herrera. We're going to wait for his wallet to get delivered. He pulls up to join us down here. And Gage, man, for 2 seasons, it has been the rivalry between Matt Smith and Gage Herrera. How matched is this rivalry now?
Oh, it's really matched. You know, I haven't seen the ticket yet, but I'm guessing I probably got him on the tree a little. He's had a fast hot rod all weekend, so have I. I've had a consistent one. I don't know what I ran there. We threw the special tire on there and basically said we're going to see what happens, and we sent it. And coming home with the win, you know, to start off the season here at Gainesville. Thank you, sir. You're very welcome. To start the season off here in Gainesville with the win, it's just a lot of momentum for the whole team. You know, we also got the win down in Matthew got the win on the Junior Cup, so bike on the road race in Daytona. So I mean, this is just an incredible weekend for Vance Hines, Revzilla, Motul, Suzuki. I mean, all of them. None of this is possible without them, and I'm very proud, and it's time to celebrate. Woo!
Summit Racing Equipment on board for Greg Anderson. Pro Stock Final. Oh boy, Greg Anderson's car shook the tires. Dallas Glenn will open the season with a win line on the strange side of the drag strip, 6:54.9 at 211 miles an hour. He was 1 race late from doing that in Pomona, California.
And Emily's going to hand that trophy to Dallas Glenn. And when I talked to you to kick off this weekend, you said that your thoughts have been on that 2,000th of a second in Pomona that you lost the championship to Greg Anderson. How does this help with that disappointment?
This definitely feels good. You know, Greg has always been one of them that's always just had my number. He keeps getting me, even though he's an old guy. He's still got it. He's got a really good hot rod, and you know, they definitely stepped it up for me today. You know, we had a good qualifying run, but we struggled early on, and you know, this thing's it was flying out there. It barely made it down on that one, but you know what? We got the win. Rad Torque Systems, Summit Racing, DPF Parts Direct, Bell Helmets, everybody. My wife, SR Driven Media, is here. Got the whole crew right here. Yes, this is payback.
Thunderstorms swirling in the distance around Gainesville Raceway. It has been a race against time, a race against each other, and a race against Mother Nature. One of the most topsy-turvy and epic runnings of the Gatornationals in this facility's history. The Funny Car Final is up. It's going to be Chad Green for the 2nd time in his career. Chad Green wins the Gatornationals. Unbelievable. This is career 5th final round, his 2nd victory. Dean Marinas, Joe Serena. Unreal. Wow.
And in Chad Green's second career win in Funny Car, not only is he going to get the Wally presented to him by Amalie Motor, he's going to go home with that sweet Gator trophy as well. And Chad, you're going to want to go back and look at the film of your run because your team absolutely lost their mind at the end of that. Dean Moranis just said on the big screen that this is a dream that he's been racing for his whole life. Woo! How does this just add to your story, Chad?
This is a dream for me too. I mean, to win here at the Gatornationals, I can't believe I'm a Gatornationals winner. It's just so awesome. I actually drove my first ever legal race car down the track here at this track. This track means so much to me, and well, I can't believe I get both of these. No, I can't. I'm so proud of my team. Let me tell you, we thrashed. We didn't do good in qualifying.
Yeah, baby.
Car came around at the right time. We have both our teams, our new team, over working on the car too. Just couldn't be more proud of these guys. And we had some new sponsors with us here this weekend. Tony, Charles from Drive, and our Logan Industries over there, Scott. So it couldn't be better. Thanks, guys.
The flames snap high right off the starting line. Finish line stripe. It is going to be Antron Brown. Brown runs 367.3. Low ET of the race. Just shy of 334 miles an hour to beat Langdon's 368.4. A great top fuel final.
I hope you guys can hear this up here because Antron Brown has been screaming, that was a race. Sean Langdon come over and said, well done, Jerome. AB, you told us you've been racing in alter egos today. You just pulled out a 36 light against Sean Langdon. How did today challenge your talents?
You got to put it up there. These drivers are incredible this year, Amanda, and all these teams are doing the homework and won that championship. And hats off to the team because you know what? Kept on digging deep, getting better, and we knew that's a monster house over there. Langdon's no joke driving, but Jerome's in the house. I'm just joking with him. But we're having a lot of fun, but being here at the Gatornationals, start the year off like this is a true blessing. All the praise and glory goes to God, but a team, I'm part of this team that's incredible. Brian, Brad, Oliver, Matco, Lucas Oil, Toyota, Hanksford boys, great job. Hey, how about that? Gator time, woo!
You've won this race now 3 times in a row. Each one of them has a special meaning. Considering that today you always talk about being the favorite, you were only now 1,000th faster than Matt by the end of the day. Where does this win rank in comparison to the other 2?
This one's at like the all-time top. I'm more excited about winning this race than I was probably winning the championship. The last 2, the last 2 seasons have been like surreal for me. But for us to have such tight, so like in 2023, my bike was obviously faster than everyone else, and then last year my bike was fast. And the Matt, it was fast and then he wasn't. But, for me and him both to be running like we are, and then to get him in the final like I did, it's an all-time high to me because I feel like I did my job. I knew the guys in the trailer were going to do theirs, but it came down to me and I did my job. So it's at the all-time high.
You talked about how the win against Greg was redemption for Pomona. When you realized that you were going to be racing him in the finals, how eager were you to get that car back up to the starting line to try and get that win?
Oh, definitely. We got back to the pit. I did my normal turnaround, and the NHRA guys said, "Hey, we're kind of fighting some weather coming in. How quick can you get up there?" I said, "I'll be ready as soon as Greg is." I was definitely eager to get up there. I think I had my jacket, my earplugs in before I even left the pit. I was ready for him. So, we just had to wait for the motorcycle guys to get out of the way so that I could take my shot at him.
You talked about the semifinals when, running up to the staging lanes with guys hanging off the side of the car, still fixing it as they're rolling up to the line. Can you talk about just the resilience of your team to be able to bounce back from a situation like that where you're late to the race, but you're still able to go down and get those grudge match victories like that?
No, something like that is just so big for our team. That's monster. It's a monster run for us. It's a monster run for our team, and everything that had to get there. And that's what you need. You just need more of this stuff happening, and these guys learn from it. They grow from it, and you know, I'm so proud of my team. Can't say enough about them and what they came. You know, we started this weekend off really not in a very stellar manner. We only made one qualifying run, which wasn't even a complete run down the track. So my guys stuck with it, worked hard on this car, and it just came around at the right time for us.
On Friday, I asked you about your team's ability to find these consistent runs to be the team to be. Today in the semifinals, you guys were in a mad rush to the staging lanes because you guys had to swap engines between rounds, and even then you guys still ran a 75 in the semifinals. What does that speak to your team's consistency that even when their back's against the wall, they're still able to put down these heaters of a run?
The thing about it is I saw a lot last year with our guys. You know, we went through a lot of different deals where things happened. We had a time cert come loose in the side of the block, so the main stud came out and we couldn't fix it. So we had to car almost all the way back together and we had to take it all out. So it made us really late where I got strapped in the car. But the thing about it is not one of them wavered. None of them was shaking. They just kept on working steady all the way to the staging lanes. And then everybody's like, AB, like, you know, we all know what we have to do. Nobody had to go, AB, you all right? I didn't go, Brian, you all right? We just kept our head down and said, all right. Once we got the car started, everything went out the window. We smelled the roses and blew out the candles, brother, like we always do. Just, and once everybody did that, I knew we're back in business. We wanted to run better than 75. We wanted to repeat our 72, but we found a couple other things that plagued us on that run right there that did it. And we were able to correct that for the final, of course.
And that is going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you want to keep up with all the action going on in the NHRA, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming content as we get set for another thrilling year of drag racing. Be sure to follow me on all social media pages down below at Mighty Mac Author on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you to our partners at Peak Performance for all their help this weekend and all the help they're going to bring us throughout the rest of the 2025 calendar year. I'm going to get out of the rain. This has been Mighty Mac. We will see you next time.